Hello everyone, I am Lavish Gupta and today we will be discussing the problem hidden points. This problem recently appeared in the October Challenge 2021. The difficulty level of this problem is medium and the prerequisites for this problem is that you should be aware of the algorithm of the closest pair of points. So given n points, we should be able to find out the closest pair of points in order n log n time. Let's move to the editorial of this problem. So let us first go through the problem statement that is given to us. So initially there is an array P of size n consisting of distinct integer points. What we are given? We are given an array of size n which has distinct integer points lying on a 2D plane. P are initially hidden from you, but you can ask queries to find out the information about points in P. So we have n distinct points on a 2D plane, but we are not aware of those points. But we can ask some queries that can help us figure out some information about those points. So what are those queries? So to be specific, we can ask queries in the form question I, j, and what will it return? It will return the square of the Euclidean distance between the ith point and the jth point. Also note that the I and j should be between 1 and n. This also means that we are following one indexing in this problem. So I and j should be between 1 and n and I should be strictly less than j. So we should be asking the queries about distinct points. Now what we will get in the return of this problem, we will get the distance, the square of the distance between the points I and j. So suppose the ith point is xi, comma yi, and the jth point is xj, comma yj. So what we will get as an return value for the query, we will get xi minus xj raised to the power 2 plus yi minus yj raised to the power 2. Okay, so let's come back to the problem. More formally, define f of ij as the square of the Euclidean distance. Then we will get the value of f of ij as the answer of the query. Now we can ask at most 3n minus 6 queries. And what we need to find out, uh, uh, what we need to find out overall, we want to find the minimum value among all possible f of ij. So we can ask 3n minus 6 such queries. So basically, indirectly, we can ask the distance of 3n minus 6 pairs of points, and we want to find out the closest pair of points among the possible n into n minus 1 by 2 pair of points. So this is the total possible pair of points, right? N choose 2. However, we cannot ask these many queries. We can only ask 3n minus 6 queries, and we want to figure out the closest pair of points. Also, we can see that on an average, for each point, we want to ask 3 queries. We want to deterministically find whether this particular point is present in the closest pair of points or not in just 3 queries. This is what we can keep in the back of our mind. Okay, let's move on the constraints of these problems. So it says that there will be multiple test cases. The number of points will be between 3 and 10 raised to the power 5. The coordinates of these points, which are hidden from us, will range from minus 10 raised to the power 9 to 10 raised to the power 9. These points will be distinct as mentioned in the problem statement, and the sum of n over all test cases does not exceed 10 raised to the power 5. Okay, in the interaction section of this problem, we are given that we can output our final answer in this format where what is x? X is the minimum value among all possible Fij, the minimum square of the Euclidean distance that is possible. Note that we can have some error in our answer and some error, relative error is acceptable. So what does it mean? Maybe we are not able to find out the exact answers because of some precision issues. That is usually when such conditions are given. So we can just keep in mind that maybe we will be required to perform our calculations in some floating point uh, data structure. Okay, so let's move forward with the solution. So suppose I am given that n is 3 and I don't know what are those points, right? So usually in geometrical problems, it helps to draw some diagrams. It helps us to visualize what's going on. So suppose there were these 3 points which are hidden from us. We don't know the coordinates of these points. However, we want to find out the closest pair of points in 3n minus 6, which is 3 in our case. We want to find out the minimum possible Euclidean or square of Euclidean distance in 3 queries. This is easy, right? There are 3 possible pairs of points 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 1, and we can ask and figure out. We can just return the minimum of these values. Okay, so we will ask 3 queries 1, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 3, and we can return the minimum among all these. What if n is equals to 4? So suppose I'm adding this new point as the fourth point. So we have seen that we can ask 3 queries for each point, and out of these 3 queries, we should be able to figure out the closest pair of points, right? So for this fourth point, I can again ask 3 queries, and I will be simply able to return the minimum value among all the 6 queries that I have asked. So this case is easy. What if n is equals to 5? Now suppose I have one more point here which says I have one more point as fifth point. This is my fifth point. Now I want to ask 3 queries, and in these 3 queries I should be able to figure out the minimum distance among all the possible pairs of points. So let's say I asked my first query with this point. So I got some value. Let's call it d15 whole square. Now suppose for the second query I ask the distance from this point, and I got some value again. Let's say b if I go whole square. Now I can ask at most one more query, and I should be able to find out some exact informations about these points. Right? Now, do you see that if the coordinates of these points were available, let's say x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2, then based on these two distances, I should have been able to severely restrict the possibilities of the fifth point, the possibilities of the coordinates of the fifth point. So let's see this fact in more detail. So what I'm saying is, suppose I have my first point, I ask the query, what is the distance of the fifth point from the first point? And suppose I got this as the answer. So what does this mean? This means that the fifth point lies on the circle which has d15 as the radius and the first point as the center of the circle. But if I ask the second query as question mark 25, then I will get some answer again. And what does this mean? That if I draw a circle taking second point as the center and D25 as the radius, this circle will represent the possible coordinates for the fifth point, right? Now we can see that two circles can intersect at most 2 points, and we can say that a fifth point will either be this point or this point. Now, what is the rule of the third query? So suppose my third point was somewhere here. This was my third point, let's say. So what I can do? I can ask the distance of the fifth point from the third point, which will be d35 whole square, and then I can calculate the distance of this point as well as this point from my third point. Right? This is my third point. I can calculate the distance of both the possible points from the third point, and then I should be able to decide which of these 2 points is my fifth point. So in three queries, I will be able to find out the exact coordinates of the fifth point. But I need something as a prerequisite for this. What do I need? I need the coordinates of the first, second, as well as the third point, right? If I have the coordinates of these points, then I can find the coordinates of the fifth point in three queries. Now there is a corner case here. It is possible that these two distances are equal, right? What if this is, let's say, d1, this is d2, and what if d1 equals to d2? In that case, we will not be able to decide which of the following 2 points should be taken as fifth point, right? So let's handle this case later. We will see this case when we will discuss the complete solution. So what we have till now, he has some rough idea of how in three queries we can find out the exact coordinate of the fifth point, given that we have the coordinates of the first, second, as well as third point. So in general, taking this as induction, we will be able to find out the coordinates of all the points. So we will be able to find out the coordinates of all the endpoints. And once I have the coordinates of all the endpoints, then using the closest pair algorithm in order n log n, I would be able to solve my problem, right? So this is just an overview of how we will be solving the problem. So let's again start with the base case. Let's start with n equals to 3 and what will happen when n is 3. So now we have n as 3 and we don't know the coordinates of the points that we have. Suppose this is the first point, this is the second point, and this is the third point. Now when n is 3 and suppose I ask the distance, my first query is 1 and 2. Suppose I ask the distance between these 2 points and I get something as my answer. Can I figure out the coordinates of the point 1 and point 2 somehow? Looks like no, we can't figure out, right? Because we don't have any information about this point 1. Okay, can we assume this point 1 to be at the origin? Can we shift our coordinate axes? Will it change our answer? Well, no. Shifting all the points will not change the distances between any 2 points, right? So we can shift all the points and make any one point as the origin. So what we have? We have that the coordinates of the first point are 0, 0. So now once I know the coordinates of the first point, I assume that it is origin. Why I have assumed? Because I know that it will not change my answer. So now can we solve our problem in a better way? So this is my first point. Somewhere I have my second as well as third point. Now suppose I have this distance available to my query. Now can I find out the exact location of this point? No. Again, this can lie anywhere on this circle, right? This complete circle. And there can be several possible integral points on this circle. Why we are talking about integral points? So in the problem, we were given that the coordinates of these points are integral. So it might so it might feel that we can figure out the coordinates, the integral coordinates of point 2. However, on this circle, there can be several possible integral coordinates, right? And then how we will decide which one to take? So the second observation is that rotating our complete axis will again not change the distance between any 2 points. So what I am saying? I am saying is, what if this second point lies on the x-axis only? What if my coordinate axis looks something like this? Will this work? Well, again, yes. Rotating our coordinate axes will not change the distance between any 2 points. So we can safely assume that a second point lies on the x-axis, on the rotated x-axis. However, when we have rotated our axes, now we can no longer guarantee that this second point will have integral coordinates, right? This was having some coordinates. After the rotation, this y2 will be 0, but we cannot say that x2 will be an integer. We can't say this. So will this affect our answer in this in some way? Like should we move forward with this approach? Remember that we were given that you can report answer with some errors, with some precision errors, and maybe that's why they have given this constraint. So yes, we can do our calculations in double because we have this flexibility that we can report our answers with some errors. Great. So till now, I have the coordinates of my first point as 0, comma 0. Suppose I got D12 which we are 2 as the answer of my query of 1, 2. Then I can see that my second point will be D12, comma 0. I am saying that it lies on the x-axis. Great. What about the third point? So let's simplify our diagram further. I have these 3 points. My was observation 1 that we can assume the first point to be at origin. Right, so this is our first point. Our second observation is that we can assume the second point to be lying on the x-axis. So it is lying on the x-axis. This is my second point. What about the third point? So suppose I ask these two queries. I ask the distance of the third point from the first point, and I ask the distance of the third point from the second point. And I have these two values with me. Now again, as we have seen, that we can have a circle with the origin as the center. We can have another circle with the point 2 as the center, and then it will say that we have two possibilities for the third point. Let's just find these possibilities mathematically also. So suppose, so what I'm saying is the distance between the third point and the first point is d13 whole square. And because the first point is at origin, we can simply say that x3 square plus y3 square is D13 raised to the power 2. This is from the first point. From the second point, we can say that x3 minus D12 raised to the power 2 plus y3 square will be the distance of the from the second point. Now, which one to choose? Can we determine which is my third point? So consider these set of points. Suppose I was having some 4 5 points. Now, what will happen if I take the reflection of these points? What will happen if I take the reflection of these points along the x-axis? We will get our points transformed. The distances between any pair of points will still not change, right? So this means that suppose originally this was coming out to be the third point, this particular point, then what I am saying is that I can, in that particular case, take the reflection of all the points along the x-axis and get this point. And we have already seen that these are the mirror reflections of each other because y was plus minus some value, some value. So these were already the mirror reflections of each other. So I can say that we can safely assume this to be our third point. And now we have our all 3 points. Okay, so let's summarize what we have seen till now. So when we encountered our first point, we argued that we can assume the first point to be at the origin. So assume the first point to be at the origin. We can shift our axes and the distances will not change. The second observation is rotating our coordinate axis will not change the distance between any 2 points. And using this fact, we can rotate our axis to make our point 2 on x-axis. The third point that we saw, the third observation that we saw was that we can take the reflection of all the points along the x-axis and this will not change the possible answer. And that is why we can uniquely get the third point, which is something something. Now, once we have got the exact coordinates of these 3 points, what we can do now, we can ask, suppose I encountered my fourth point, or in general, the ith point, then I can ask the distances of the ith point from the first point, from the second point, and from the third point. Using these two distances, I can find the two possible situation, two possible coordinates. And with this query, I can find the exact coordinate. However, if you remember, we were talking about some corner case, right? What is that corner case? The corner case was, what if this third point is not able to find out the exact coordinate? So can this ever happen? So let's see. Let's see if it can happen. So suppose this is my first point and this is the circle that we were talking about. This is my second point and this is the second circle. I have these two possible points. So now is it possible that there exists a point which is having equal distances from these 2 points? Yes, it is it is possible. So what I'm saying is that I had 2 points. Can there exist some other point which is having equal distances from these 2 points? Well, we know that if this point lies on the perpendicular bisector of the line joining these 2 points, then yes, it is possible to have both these distances equal. So what is the perpendicular bisector in this case of these 2 points? Remember that this is 0, comma 0 and this is d12, comma 0. So the perpendicular bisector of these two lines is nothing but the x-axis. So if the third point lies on the x-axis, it will not be able to uniquely say which point we should consider as our ith point. Okay, so what is the solution of this problem? Like, how can you avoid this problem? So we can see that if we are able to find out some other point which is not on the x-axis, then we can use that particular point as our third point, and we can use that point to eliminate one of the two possible options and get the other one. And we have already seen that if that chosen point does not lie on the x-axis, then it will have different distances from these 2 points, and using those distances we will be able to eliminate one of these points and get an exact coordinate for the ith point. So let's summarize the complete algorithm. So we can assume our first point at origin, the second point at the x-axis. We will get our third point. So if this third point lies on the x-axis, this is our third point, then the similar argument will again hold that we will get two possible pairs of the fourth point and we can choose any one of them. And once we have chosen this one as a fourth point, we will say that now I will find the distance from the first point, from the second point, and then from the fourth point. If this fourth point is again on the x-axis, then we can do the similar thing for the fifth point and so on, right? So this is how you can solve this problem. So to summarize, for the first 3 points, we have asked 3 queries and we were able to get the exact coordinates of these points. After that, for each point, we have asked 3 queries and we were able to get the exact coordinates of those points. So what is the number of queries that we have asked? We have asked these many queries, right? For n minus 3 points, we have asked 3 queries for each point and we have asked 3 queries in the beginning. And this is nothing but 3n minus 6, which is the exact amount that was given in the problem. So now we have solved our problem. We have got the exact coordinates of all the n points, right? We have got the exact coordinates. Now what we can do? We can use First, we can use a brute force approach to find out the shortest possible distance. What will it say? It will say that our I can go from 1 to n, our j can go from I plus 1 to n, and find out the minimum distance. And report the square of the minimum distance. This approach will take order n square time, right? And this is enough for passing the first subtask. A better algorithm is we can use the divide and conquer algorithm to find out the closest pair of points. The algorithm works in order n log n time and n is bounded by 1e5, so we will be able to get the shortest possible pair of points and we can report the distance between those 2 points, and this is enough for the subtask 2. Now if you are not aware of this particular algorithm, you can read it on various articles. There are several articles present on this approach, and you can surely go and take a look on this order and login algorithm to find out the closest pair of points. Now let us move on to the code that we will be using for this particular problem. So we will start with our main function. We will take the number of test cases as the input and we will go to the solve function. Now in the solve function, we will first take the input of how many points we have. We will initialize our first point as 0, comma 0. We will ask the query of 0, comma 1. In this code, I am using the zero based indexing. So we can go and we can see that the ask query takes two arguments I and j and asks the distance between the ith and jth point. This is following the one indexing, and in the code I am following my zero indexing. So the first point is 0, comma 0. Now I've asked the distance between the first and second point, and I have got the distance. I have got my second point. Again, as we have discussed, I can get my third point by asking the two queries, and I have chosen the positive file for the second point. Now, this flag denotes that particular point which is not collinear, right? So, as we have discussed, that if the third point is collinear, then we will be facing some issues. So that's why, as a replacement of the third point, we want to choose some point which is not collinear with the first and second point. In short, which is not lying on the x-axis. So as of now, we will assume that this is the third point. Okay, so for any general point, I will first ask these three distances, the distance from the first, second, and my third pseudo third point. And as we have derived the formulas, I can find out the x and y coordinates. Remember that they are not the correct x and y coordinates. I have two possibilities for this ith point. Either the y coordinate will be positive or negative. Now we can calculate the distances of this point, of these 2 points from the third point. Whichever distance is closer to my expected value, I will take that value. Now what does it say? It says that if this point does not lie on the x-axis, if the y coordinate of this point is not 0, is greater than some particular value, then use this as my flag, as my third point. Finally, I am calling a function. So now after this point, I have all the possible coordinates of the points. And now I can use my order n log n algorithm to find out the closest points which are present among these endpoints. And I can return the square of this distance as my answer. So this is the code. Let's now go and submit this code. So I am on the submission page of the hidden points. Let's just copy paste this code and submit it. This will take some time. Meanwhile, discuss some points which are important for this particular code. Because we are dealing with doubles and long doubles, it is possible that we might face some uh, precision issues, and we should try to minimize them as much as possible. So the first point is we should use doubles or long doubles whenever we are dealing with the floating point numbers. Why? Because they have higher precision and they can help us minimize the precision issues. Secondly, whenever you are using the square root function, you should avoid using the standard, using the normal sqrt function. Instead, you should use sqrtl. Why? Because it is able to handle large numbers with much better precision, and it is able to give us a better precision answer. Now, one more point, we should always pass the absolute value of whatever we are trying to calculate, the square root of. Finally, and when you are reporting the final answer, you should round off your answer. So what I am saying is, suppose answer star answer is 9.8. Now if you are not rounding it off, then you will say that 9 is my correct answer. However, ideally, because 9.8 is closer to 10, you should say that 10 is my answer, right? And that's why you should always round off your answer before reporting it. Let's see if our code has if our code has been just or not. Okay, so our code has just and we have passed all the test cases. This is the same code that we are discussing. So we have been able to solve this problem by asking 3n minus 3 query, 3n minus 6 queries, and using this order and log n algorithm for finding the closest pair of points. Well, this is all with this problem. Thank you very much. Bye bye.